I lost, dude. I lost my mind when Youngworth came on at center mid.
What a way to start. What a way
Dude,
to start.
I was so mad. I was like, "What is this?"
Ooh, man, him and Fierro at the same time too. You must have been so happy. Oh,
Bay Area, stand up and let's be heard. No more sitting in the shadows. We're known for our winning ways, and not being the best, that just ain't for us. We're loud, we're proud, and we're unapologetic about it. So even when times are looking as dark as the black and blue we wear on our crest, we tell them that Goonies never say die. And when we're done shaking things up on the pitch, there's another shake coming. This is something that's been created by the people, for the people. This is everything and anything San Jose Earthquakes related. This is Aftershock. Vamos, San Jose.
I mean, in all fairness to Youngworth, I mean, he didn't do that bad when he came on, but like,
you look faster now that I feel like now that he's had like 2 months off on his leg.
yeah, I still think we could have put somebody else into the midfield than
Yeah,
Youngworth.
I think Haji would
We,
have been better.
we literally had four center backs on the pitch at
Yeah,
once.
yeah, yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh God, another 2 points dropped. I mean, if you compare the performances last time, like Houston just looked like a much better team, and then this time I don't want to say we looked like the better team, but it was like 55-45. Or like I feel like we were
Yeah,
slightly better.
I thought we controlled the game better for stretches of it, but at the end of the day, I didn't feel like we were threatening enough at all.
Hmm.
Like we didn't really test the keeper too much. I don't even know how many shots we had. It was probably only a couple.
I think part of that problem was the formation because we would have like most of the chances I remember is like we'd go down the line and then we'd play a negative ball, but the negative ball never really connected to anyone. And when you have like Judson and Remedy as your two holding mids, they're really playing like defensive minded, so you're not going to get those late runs
It
into
was
the ball.
Kahan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skahan and Remedy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, but yeah, no, and then it, it's tough. It's tough to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a lot of our possession doesn't really have a purpose too much. Like in the beginning, I thought Salinas had a couple good runs and
I
attacking
thought
the
he had a great
defender.
game.
Yeah, he played well again. He had a couple good moments down the line. He had a couple good dribbles on that outside back. He couldn't really stop him, but
Hmm.
other than that, I'm trying to think. Until we brought on Cowell, we didn't really, go out the defense too much. And
Oh, really? I thought Cal was after. Like, I thought the first minute or two, Cal had some moments, and then he pretty much like disappeared, and then every once in
yeah,
a while you would get something from him.
yeah, but at least he wanted to go at the team's defenders and try putting across. It just felt like, other than those few moments, I can't really think of too many chances where we missed. I
Yeah,
mean, other than the one from Trophies, that was
yeah. That's
bad.
it. Trophy's had a couple. Rios went for goal this season, and wasn't that far off to be fair.
Yeah, but like throughout most of the game, I mean, I like towards the end we had a couple chances. You're right, but in the like 90% of the game, I don't know. Other than that Trophies miss and obviously the own goal, we managed to score, I guess. But other than that, it just felt like we weren't putting enough pressure on. It felt like it felt like to me that we couldn't really get past Remedy. I mean, Skahan didn't really look to break the lines too much.
I keep saying it about him is he looks like a USL Jackson Mule. Like he just like he was energetic and he was running and it looked like he was trying to do the right thing. It just looked like he was a step behind like everything, like the pace, like the touches, the ideas, everything was just a bit too slow. Like it wasn't at the level.
Yeah, it just felt like he wasn't really it didn't really look like he wanted the ball. I don't know how to describe it. It felt like he was so nervous, and
On,
when he did get the ball, it was just,
on TV it wasn't terrible. It might be another Beeson situation where like maybe he just needs a couple games.
probably,
Yeah.
especially in the midfield. You definitely want to
Yeah,
get
I
him.
mean yeah, it's rough, especially I mean Austin or sorry, Dynamo's press rather quick.
Yeah, dude, their striker was solid. He was so good at holding up the ball for his for his team. He was the guy with the man bun. He was good.
Yeah, I thought Nathan did a good job of marking him though.
Yeah.
And
I mean, overall, they did all right. I mean,
Abi Costas was like completely quiet, but I don't know if it's to give him credit. I'd probably have to like really watch the game and analyze it. The I forget his name, the left wing for them, like Poppy or whatever. Like
yeah.
he is ridiculously fast, and he lit us up last time, but it just
Yeah,
took
he
a
was
very silent game this time.
he was fast as heck.
Yeah,
But
I mean, like the announcers kept saying they were missing 5 players, but all 5 of their players that were missing were bench players. So it's not like they were at their full depth and we weren't, which I think is what makes it hard to be frustrated, but it's still frustrating because like at the beginning of the season, you could look at this game and be like, "Ah, that could have gone both ways. I'm fine with a draw." And you're gonna have games like that through the season. But when you've dropped points like we have, and you've really just like screwed the pooch multiple times, like anytime it's a 50-50 match, you have to win the match, like when it's in your grasp. And not that we really had many chances, and I mean, their one chance was a banger. Like, I kind of wish JT better on it, but like, he was also really blinded by like his
yeah, I mean, it was a good hit. It was a good hit.
yeah. I guess I don't really blame him. I thought JT had a good night too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought overall it was okay. I mean, I don't know. I thought he took care of the reasonable chances pretty fairly. I don't know. I mean, there was a couple chances that Dynamo had on us that were scary for a minute, but overall, I thought our defense was actually all right.
I mean, overall, I thought it was a fun game. Like, I left saying, like, man, I wish I was at this, because I almost went to the game, but I didn't. I'm like, oh, I wish I was there. That would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Especially considering, like, how many people were missing out of our starting lineup. And, like, it was like, it was, again, it's one of those things where it's like, it's promising, but it's like, we need to have our stuff together by now. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It just feels like we aren't threatening enough going forward. Like I feel like we look solid, right? But it's not really gonna produce too much when we can't score.
so that's my problem with the 3-4-3 is like it leaves those 2 center mids isolated, and those extra like wing backs like are nice for our like needs, but then the other 2 up top, like Espinoza and it was Trophies this game, like they almost become useless for most of the game, where it's just like we're not utilizing it, and that's why I kind of prefer the 3-5-2. But then, like when you look at our personnel, like someone gets kind of thrown away there.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just gonna say this again from last week too. Like Wando, nobody wants to pass to him, dude.
I thought the first half he actually played
Yeah,
well.
yeah. But after the first like 15 minutes, absolutely nothing. It was
I thought
crazy.
the first half he was making good runs, and he was because he wasn't like checking the midfield, and he was like receiving the ball. And then like yeah, like you said, after about 15 minutes and almost the entire second half just disappeared.
He didn't do anything. It was,
Yeah.
and that's a problem when you're our striker and we need a goal in those games. You know, it's
Yeah,
not good.
he had 1 or 2 good chances early on.
Sort of. I couldn't tell from that header that kind of went off of him in the box.
It should have been a corner.
It should have been a corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it went off the guy's hand, but it like wasn't a handball.
Yeah.
And then how was the stadium when Fierro scored before it was ruled offside?
Dude, I started going crazy because it was what, the 90th minute or so?
Yeah, 90
And
seconds.
dude, we were all going crazy. And then for some reason I see the ref put his arm up and I was like, oh my God. And then everybody went,
but it was like a very harsh. I don't want to say very harsh, but it was like
everybody went dead silent. They didn't even show a replay on the screen. So
that. That makes sense.
I don't know how close it was, but
Rios was definitely offside, and like he didn't touch the ball, but like he ran towards it, and like this was the ball, like as it was about to like touch him, he just like runs backwards. So like he kind of impeded it, but like it was a
soft.
Yeah.
Damn. But yeah, that was crazy. I thought it was gonna be ridiculous. And then of course he gets sent off right after.
Oh my God, that was so funny. The other guy,
what happened? I saw the guy had a tactical foul on him, whatever, on the break.
Yeah, and that should have been an initial yellow, which he ended up getting. And then I think the announcer said he grabbed his neck, but on the replay, like you didn't really see it. It was
Oh,
kind of like a tug. So I think he stepped on him afterwards and like he kind of pushed him, which I understand the red, but I'm pretty sure the other guy retaliated too. So I would have been fine with a double red, but and then what about the referee just like getting absolutely clattered at the beginning? Like I'm surprised there wasn't 55 minutes added time both halves. Oh my
dude, I
god.
thought in the first half we were gonna have like 10 minutes of added time.
Yeah,
It
yeah, I'm
was
surprised it was
crazy.
only 6. That was ridiculous.
And then the guy, their center back, he kept going down towards the end of the game because of his shoulder. And I can't believe they didn't sub him out. I couldn't believe it. It was
Yeah.
crazy. He was clearly grimacing the whole time.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was the only thing that was like frustrating in the game for me. Was like,
Yeah, so
oh my
much
god,
stoppage. It was crazy.
that was a fun game though. Like I thoroughly
Yeah, it
enjoyed.
was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. I just wish we could, score. It's the only thing.
Yeah. All right, you want to go to player reviews?
Yeah, I pulled it up. All
Yeah.
right. So we can just start off with JT.
Yeah,
Six
these
point-
are for anyone who's new. These are my little quick reviews on the game that Jacob always disagrees with.
Yeah, I mean, you've gotten better though. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I'll admit that first week was a little wild.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, you were so set on your ratings, and I was just telling you, man, what are you doing? And then you finally came around in a couple weeks because you're like, maybe that was.
I'm not gonna lie, you might not like this week's, but
Yeah, it sounds like you were a little more optimistic about the game than I was. So
yeah,
I see this. Okay.
I mean, watching it live and watching it on TV are two like completely different like experiences.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we looked all right, but I don't think as good as you're saying. Probably.
I think I've just been given such a low standard, and I was
Yeah.
expecting butt whooping that I was okay with.
I know, dude.
All right, go ahead, JT.
Fucking 3 ties in a row, dude. All right. 6.7 out of 10 for him. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say other than what you wrote. It was unlucky on the goal as he saw it late and it was hit with power and precision. Then he made a couple routine saves otherwise, right? So fully agree with that. I mean, it was a good goal from that guy.
Yeah,
Just
he
kind of
didn't turn over the ball a ton too, so
yeah, he kind of hit it and it swerved away from it. It was always bending outwards towards the corner, and it was
I mean,
just
low and hard, worst nightmare. Like
yeah. I
someone
can't
should have
believe
stepped to
none of
that.
our defenders in the box were able to like get a touch on it. It was
I'm
crazy.
surprised we didn't have anyone on top of the box. Like,
I mean, that's tricky, but you would think that if we're all compressed in the box, somebody would be in the middle able to get a touch on, but
I mean,
nobody.
that's 2 weeks in a row we've conceded a goal off not running after the set piece.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's tough to blame JT for that one. So
Yeah,
it's a fair rating. And then Alani, 6.8 out of 10. Good positioning. It was always protecting for both his center backs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you pretty much put the same rating for the other 3 center backs, and we'll continue. But I thought our 3 center backs looked good, actually. They didn't really allow too much. And other than a couple random fouls, and I'm like, what the heck was that for? He didn't need to do that.
Yeah, Alanis was really well positioned. I think he realized he doesn't have as much pace as the other two to
Yeah,
where he can always be the second defender. So he kind of is forcing the offensive's hand to like go one direction so the main defender can deal with it. And then his
yeah,
distribution good per usual. Like,
yeah. Alanis is solid. I like Alanis.
yeah.
And then Beeson, 6.8 out of 10. Great positioning and cover on the left side, which allowed Salinas more freedom to attack the left wing. Yeah, Beeson's been pretty solid. I'll be honest. The last few weeks he's been pretty good. And
Yeah, and I feel like he had to cover a little extra space because he would have to push up a little more, so Salinas wouldn't have to come all the way back, which is what I think really helped us like push our offense up a lot of the times on that left side because we weren't really getting much from Abicasas.
yeah, it's just tricky because when he gets the ball, Almeida's probably telling him to look up to Wando or something, but it's just so frustrating watching him get the ball and he can't find it because Wando is just never open. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. It's just tricky. Okay. Nathan, 7.1 out of 10. Great reading of the game to prevent a false 9 attack from Houston. Adds a great level of enthusiasm and energy for the squad. Big second half when it came to clutch tackles and recovery runs. Yeah, he played pretty well, especially in the first half. I thought his first half was probably better.
Agreed. Yeah.
But yeah, he had a couple good moments, and towards the end, I think he got a little frustrated. But I mean, overall, it was a good performance from
Yeah, he
him.
makes runs into the midfield every once in a while too, but like
I
on the
know,
low,
yeah,
like makes it back.
yeah, but it's all right. He played well,
Hmm.
and then Abacasa 6.3 out of 10, given a difficult job to guard a pacey player tonight. And while that side was relatively quiet compared to the last time these two met, he needs to get much more involved and was in no man's land on both offense and defense tonight. Yeah, it, it's so crazy because I just don't know why he's not getting involved more on that right hand side because I think Salinas wants the ball more probably. And on when he plays on that left, he gets it more. But
Yeah.
Alvacasas, it just feels like I don't know. He just doesn't do as much with the ball as Salinas. Maybe that's why.
It's not even like you have to have the ball. Like his positioning was poor, which I feel like then limits Espinoza from getting the ball as well, which is extra frustrating about it.
Yeah, because I think Espinoza is best where he's out wide, hugging the touchline.
And attacking one on one, yeah.
Yeah, and because they're playing this 3 at the back or 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it, Abacasas or whoever's playing that right wing back position is taking that space that Espinoza would usually pick the ball up in. And so then Espinoza kind of has to press inside a little bit more and check
That's why I'm
for it.
excited for Tommy to come back. I want to see how he's going to do in this system.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's hard because that kind of takes away from Espinoza's position that he usually plays. I don't know.
Yeah, also, anyone who wants to read this as well as a quick game analysis can go to aftershock.club where you can see all our content.
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay. Skahan, that's generous. Okay. Good ideas and movement on the night. Yeah, he seems to be behind the pace needed at this level. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh, but
What was the rating?
you said 6.3.
Yeah.
I mean, it just felt like maybe that's appropriate, but it just felt like he didn't really do too much and so nervous on the ball. A lot of times he wasn't ready for it. And
It seemed like a young JV player who's like a freshman or something that gets like called up to his first varsity game, and then he's like really trying to impress, but he's like still off the pace a bit, but you can tell he's quality.
yeah, I mean, he's working hard and he's in the right spaces, but it just seems like sometimes when he gets the ball, he's not ready for it. And then also I think he's a little bit wary and nervous to make bad passes and give away the ball easily. So then he takes a second too long to release.
Exactly. Yeah. He needs to
And
think before he gets it. Like I think he's, like you said, he's really trying to make the perfect pass because when you have Yule in front of you, and then that's really the guy you're competing with because Chofis is a different type of player, and then he's definitely
yeah,
not like a Remedy or Judson. Like you're really trying to compete for that one spot, and he's an international player, so it's difficult. So I think he's just nervous because it's hard for him to break into the squad, and he's only really got 2 opportunities.
yeah. So it's tricky and it's tough, but hopefully he can grow into it a little bit more and relax. Okay, then move on to Remedy. Once again, the unsung hero putting in an absolute shift, covering many teammates and doing a lot of the work. Fully agree with that. I thought he played well, actually.
I'm
He's
such a big fan.
yeah, no, he's definitely been good for us. That's obvious. It's so obvious.
Oh my god, the other teams have got to hate him. Like he flops quite a bit,
Yeah,
or
he
like he'll
does
put his
drop
body in
fouls.
front right before and get a foul. He leads the MLS in fouls. It's like he's like at 152 now or something.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, he does well to receive and he tries to slow things down for us, and that's good and bad. I think, especially with Yule out, it's a little tricky because then we couldn't find a way to break the lines as much. But just as far as being that holding number 6, he plays it pretty well.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see when everyone's back because I actually kind of like the idea of him, Judson, and Yule playing together.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works with trophies, but
Yeah, maybe Chofis gets dropped to the bench because I feel like he's been a little slower in pace these
yeah,
last couple games.
yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, it's always good. It's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, I mean it is. I'm not sure if the formation needs to change or what because although the three at the back does provide cover, and I think our three center backs are great that we're playing right now, it just feels like it kind of limits us going forward. So I'm not sure.
I like the three. I think it's having two in the midfield is the problem. Like, but we don't really use the midfield. And I like having the wingers because we use that in a four back anyways. So it's now we just have that extra defender. So it's like it's just figuring out exactly how it works.
Yeah, I honestly, and this is gonna sound crazy. I wish Rios would drop into the number 10 position at times, like later in the game, instead of
No,
subbing.
I completely agree. I think he's a better attacking mid than he is a
Yeah,
striker.
instead of subbing him on at the end up top, I think he probably played better in that hold up play, just kind of dictating the play. I don't know.
Agreed.
It's just
No, I
how I
agree with
think.
that. Yeah.
All right, I'll move on to Salinas. 7.3 out of 10. Was very active early on and looked to be lighting up the left side. Electric attacking tonight. Yeah, another good performance. I mean, he played really well, especially in the
Looking like a
first half.
20-year-old again. Like
Yeah, especially in the first half, dude. He had that guy's number. He had a couple of dribbles right off like the first 3 minutes or so.
I
And
will say though, it's like if you're a defender, like defending him, like I get it's so much easier said than done, but like just do your homework. His only move is like kind of do like 1 to 2 fakes and then take a big touch down the line. Like he never
a couple of times he cut inside on that guy too. He got
yeah,
him a
but like
couple times.
yeah, it's very rare. Like 9 out of 10 times he's going to the line. I get you rather give the line than the inside, but just like
Yeah.
use some help I don't know.
Yeah, but he's so shifty, dude. I mean, he is shifty. He does a lot of body movements, and
I think he's just really athletic. I
he
think that's it.
decelerates so quick.
Yeah.
He stops really quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had a couple good runs down the line, especially beating that one guy. He had his number.
Yeah, no, he was lighting up that center back.
All right, and then we'll move on to Chofi. 6.4 out of 10. Okay, after the opening minute, he was quiet.
Yeah.
And this was a game that needed some quick passes and seemed to slow down the play in the first half. The second half saw him looking to get involved more. And while he seemed to be a step slow, it did help the offense. I mean, I just don't even know what he really did besides missing that one chance where it went wide. He also had that little skill run in the second half where he sauced a couple guys in the box and then he smacked it into a defender. But other than
a little off the pace.
It just felt like he didn't do too much.
This reminds me of a point. We need to learn how to deal with teams that are sitting back. Like it looks like we're kind of learning how to deal with the high press, but now we need to learn when they're like just compacting in the box how to kind of actually use possession properly instead of just pass for a bit and then say, fine, now we'll cross it after like 3 attempts.
Well, I think it's probably because we're not used to playing against the team that would, go into the game thinking, let's sit back against the Quakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wish he could get more involved. I mean, we keep saying this every week. We see glimpses of it, but it just feels like he needs that little bit extra.
Exactly. That's why I don't have a problem moving him to the bench.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't even know who he'd play in that 10 position. I mean,
well, I like the idea of putting Yule there.
Yeah, but that's not really like how.
I mean, I like Tommy. I wouldn't mind Tommy there either. He's like crafty.
That's a long shot at this point.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but
But I mean, since Yenworth went into the midfield, who?
Well, no, he used to play defensive mid for us for a bit, so I think that's why that happened. But
yeah, but it was just, oh my god, I was dumbfounded, dude. You should have seen my face. I was.
Considering you stopped responding to all my text, I assumed.
Dude, I saw you text me, and I think I responded, "I'm done," and that's all I said. I'm done.
I just know Jacob hates him, so every time he touched the ball, I just like in all caps would be like, "What a touch! What a pass! Oh, the pace!" Like just tactical. Oh,
yeah, dude, that one run he had down the left flank.
That was hilarious.
He somehow kept the ball after like 3 random bounces, and it was crazy. I think he got fouled.
Well, no, it's funny. After that, I'm like, he's actually playing quite well. And then like a play later, like Salinas was like pressing someone towards him, and like all he had to do was step into the challenge, but then he did some really weird step, got beat, and then fouled the guy. And I'm like, that's why he's not playing.
He also did. There was this one play where I know this is so nitpicky, but he just made one of the stupidest passes I've ever seen in my life. I was like, oh,
like, I know you're talking. It was on the right side, right?
One of them, dude. It was just like, what are you doing, bro? I know everybody does that, but from Yenworth in the middle, I was like, oh,
yeah.
All right, and then we move on to Espinoza, 6.4 out of 10. Great delivery on a set piece that led to an own goal. However, he needs to be much more involved in the attack because the few opportunities he took going forward led to goal scoring opportunities. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing that we keep saying. At least he had a couple good deliveries, but I think it just needs to be mentioned again with the formation and how that space is being occupied by a right wing back, and it doesn't really suit Espinoza as well. I'm not really sure.
I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that we're missing Erickson still, or it's maybe a mixture of vodka or just the formation changes. But we need to look back at maybe some of the old tape and see how he was getting involved more, because it's just that we're really not getting the same. Like, I get you can't be on a hot streak forever, but he's not even touching the ball as much. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it just feels like we have no ability of going through the middle. And
Mhm.
so anytime he does get the ball, it's expected to be out wide, and it's going to be so clogged and so congested, and just feels like he doesn't have much space to work with, and it's tough to find space, but it just feels like he's been unable to get any space. You think back to like the bubble, and I know it's so long ago, but think about that MLS's back tournament. I remember when he lit it up, it was crazy. And he had that one or two goals from the top of the box where he dribbled past somebody, and it was a one-on-one situation. And I'm trying to think, like, he doesn't really get in those opportunities too many times anymore. And it's
Yeah.
like, what's changed? You're completely right about that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. And then Wando, 6.6 out of 10. Are you serious, dude? Stayed in the number 9 role tonight, which helped San Jose have an outlet, and it was making the correct runs tonight. Disappeared a bit in the second half. Yeah, maybe I'm a little harsh, but I mean, as we've mentioned, the first like 10 minutes he looked okay. And then it just felt like he was in space and he was kind of open, but nobody was looking for him. Like, and nobody gave him the ball.
I will say the at the LA Galaxy game that we lost like 3-1, there were times where he was like up top and he was open, and like because I sit behind the goal, or I stand behind the goal, so like I had the like direct line view. Like the passing lane was open, we just aren't willing to like take that
Yeah.
risky pass.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. We just don't want to pass there. I'm not really sure.
Um, but yeah, if we had, I was just thinking to myself, if we had that Wando or just like anyone for like that played like he did in that opening 15 minutes for the entire game, I could really see us like
Yeah. I mean,
scoring goals.
it's crucial having a number 9 up top that can,
Receive the ball.
that can receive the ball and you dictate play and attract defenders, because dude, I would never double team Wando, dude. Never.
It was really funny. The commentator roasted Wando. Like, it might have been off the Espinoza goal, but like Wando made a run down the line, received the ball like the left wing position, and like it was the 19-year-old defender or whatever, and like he fouled him. He's like, I don't know why he would have fouled Wando there. He wouldn't have done anything with the ball. He's trapped in a corner. Like,
Yeah,
just
I mean, it's true. I mean, Wando in a one-on-one situation isn't doing anything, dude. I can't think of the last time Wando's dribbled at someone.
I just think of the Austin FC game when Nick Lima was guarding him and he tried doing like the scoop churn meg onto him in the
Oh yeah,
lane.
yeah,
Nick
absolutely
Lima doesn't even move and Wando just like dribbles it out of bounds.
bodied. Yeah, it was so bad. All right, and we move on to the subs. We can talk about these quickly. Cowell, 6.3 out of 10. Had a great 3 to 4 plays. The problem was that the only thing done in the substitution, that was the only thing that was done in the substitution appearance. He needs to get more involved early on. And you're right about that. He did have a few moments, but you would like to see him do more, especially when you come on to try and get a goal. But I thought he did look a lot better, because a lot better than what we had in the starting 11, because he brings that pace and he brings that desire to go at the defense
He needs
instead
to
of
start
just,
versus Seattle.
yeah,
My
definitely.
concern is I think he needs to switch sides with Espinoza for that game. Um, oh, I forget his name for Seattle. He's like the big guy. I don't remember his name, but he is like a veteran, fast and strong. I think Espinoza might be better suited to deal with him. But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
yeah, don't worry about it too much. Yeah, we've got to figure out how to do something with this string of losses and ties, dude.
Yeah.
All right, and then Fierro 6.2 out of 10. Unlucky to have his goal called offsides. However, as a sub, there needs to be more energy and urgency. Yeah, I mean, I'm when he
did nothing.
came
He
on,
did
I can't really think of too much that he did.
No, he got subbed on. When him and Cal got subbed on, Cal was like really looking for the ball. He gets the ball, passes it to Fierro. Fierro switches the ball, didn't touch the ball for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, other than the red card, that was hilarious. I was
I
telling
was
you.
play the match. Now he doesn't play next week, which is I think
Yeah.
great.
Wait, was it a straight red?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's gonna be a couple of games at least. Then yeah, that's bad. Jeez.
Oh, that's
All
it.
right, and then Youngworth and Marie didn't really have too much to do, but they both looked okay when they came on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. And moving on to next week, we face Seattle Sounders, who were on a 13-game win streak, and then they have some Gold Cup call-ups, and they've had quite a bit of injury, so they lost they like barely won their last game, and I'm currently watching it right now. It's halftime, but they're losing 2-0 to Sporting Kansas, who we somehow tied, and
That was ridiculous.
um, yeah, Johnny Russell had an insane free kick for their first goal, and then they just had a break in the play for the next one. I want to give a quick shout out to midfielder. He got moved to center back now for Seattle Sounders. Josh Atencio. We're friends with his uncle Matt, so shout out to Josh Atencio. But we can move on to fan questions unless you have anything you want to say about the Seattle game.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. I don't know if you saw a couple of them there.
Yeah, no, we're not including two of them, but yeah, I saw them.
What?
um,
But
yeah, I mean the Seattle game. I kind of want to go for a tie. I was gonna say originally I was gonna say just don't concede 3-5, but they're a depleted squad right now. I think we go for the tie. I know it's at Seattle too. I think a tie would be huge.
it would be good, but I want to win.
Yeah, a win. Oh my god, a win would be
I mean,
I think a tie would still be a miracle, but like
it would completely jumpstart the confidence. However, I mean, it's probably unrealistic.
yeah.
So, is it on Saturday next week or is
Yep,
it?
Saturday at Seattle.
Yeah.
So here's our first question from Instagram, JHSci10. Hey guys, love the podcast. Keep it up. Here are a few to choose from. We decided to choose them all. uh, so the first one, what is one thing the Quakes should be doing differently that they haven't tried yet? I'll start. I think this is a difficult question to answer because I think they're now starting to try the things that they weren't trying, like the three in the back formation, trying some new players. Um, I would say getting just like benching some players and not playing them, but due to our numbers right now, I don't think there's much we can do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I think the suggestions I would make is just when they're healthy and back in the squad, I would definitely start Kikanovich back,
yep,
start Powell, Espinoza, and
more Haji.
maybe you see a switch in formation. But I think if we can get Benji back up top and Cowell, I think then we can maybe see a little bit of a younger attack going forward. And I think that would just be a little more explosive and threatening
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, Wando isn't threatening. And I think it would be good to have players up top that offer something that he can't, given how old he is, you know?
yeah. I mean, even in the last game when like Cal wasn't doing much, we at least have the outlet of like attempting the long ball to him, which then pushes them back 10 or 15 yards.
Exactly. Just the
Press.
threat of
Like
it, you know?
yeah, you don't even get that with Wando. So
No, I mean, you don't
all
have
right.
to worry about it.
The next question: which player has been playing but should be on the bench? Whoo!
I
Where
don't
do
know if I
I
can. I
start?
don't know if I can say it because, like, okay, well, obviously I'm gonna say Wando, but the one I want to say is Fierro, but he hasn't even been starting the last couple
Okay,
games.
well, yeah, Wando, Rios, Fierro.
They haven't been
Uh,
starting though, so it's like,
yeah, that's fine. Anytime he said be playing, that should be on the bench. So like,
just
they
stay on
should
the
still be
bench.
on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah,
Vega. I know this isn't the question, but I'm gonna say anyways. Shouldn't even be on the bench. Like, I think he should be like handing out tickets to the front entrance to players and like signing autographs if anyone would want it. Youngworth. I was fine with him last game, but yeah, I think it's time to go. Um, There's probably a couple others. Abicasas has been poor in the last 2 or 3, but I'm fine with him coming on every once in a while. But yeah, Fierro. I'm actually all jokes aside, Fierro. I'm just not seeing anything from him. Rios has moments, so he can stay. But yeah, Fierro is the one for me.
Fierro and Wando. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'm still fine with bringing Wando on if there's like 5 or 10 minutes left.
Yeah, but definitely not starting for me.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
way. No way.
Which
Okay.
players in the bench should be starting and playing? I think we're both gonna agree. Kikonovic
Yeah.
should be starting, and then I think we're also gonna agree that Haji maybe should
Yeah,
be
I was
starting,
gonna.
but playing
Yeah,
as at least as a consistent sub.
yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say he should be coming on as a sub instead of Fierro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the bottom line for me.
And then that brings us to his fourth question: why isn't Haji seeing more time? I mean,
I don't
no
know
one knows but Almeida, right? That if I had to take a guess, it's because he's young, and maybe you just don't see things in training. And like the reason we like him is because he gets the ball and he attacks directly, which we don't really see from the other players. And maybe it doesn't translate as well in training. And maybe Almeida is looking for more of a system. And maybe in this 3-4-3 he doesn't run back as much, but that would be my guesses, but really only Almeida knows. I still think he should be playing and seeing.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I don't have much to add. I was gonna make a joke like he's got something to do with Almeida's personal life, but
Yeah. 5. How likely are the Quakes to make the playoffs this season? Well, earlier in the season, I said that there's a chance that we have the potential for a second place finish, but I think we finish in 6th. I'm watching the first and second place team right now, and the first place team is depleted, and I'm seeing a completely different quality of standard. But if we pull this up right here, like we said, we're about 2/3 to almost halfway done with the season.
it's top 8, right?
Yeah, it's 7. I
Oh,
thought it was 8, but apparently it's 7. At least according to this, it might be 8, but let's just pretend it's 7. We are 11th right now, and we are a game ahead of multiple teams. I mean, if you look at the big difference right now, nine down are all at 3 wins, and 8 and above are all at 6+ wins.
yeah.
Right. But then what's our Achilles heel is we have a ton of losses and we've just racked up some ties. Now somehow, we are tied now. Oh no, we do not have the worst most goals conceded, but we are conceding a lot of goals and not scoring a ton. And I realize I just said the most simple thing ever. Like, we're not good in wins and we're not scoring a ton, but like we need to start picking up wins. But from what I'm seeing right now, if we can get our players back within the next 2 to 3 games, I could see it being likely that we pick up a like 7th or 6th place spot. The only reason I just don't see it happening is because we dropped so many games. And if you're looking at these squads, FC Dallas is having a poor year. Houston is in a bad spell right now, but doesn't have a terrible squad. Portland are just getting back some of their injured players, so they're starting to go on a run again, but they're struggling. But they're a good squad. Bobby Wood just scored for Real Salt Lake, who I'm a big fan of Bobby Wood, but they're okay, right? But Minnesota, iffy, and then LA is having a poor year. But if LA is your like, maybe we can get past them squad, that's why we're struggling. So it's a strong West team. It's difficult because we see it every year where we just go on a crazy streak of losses and then a crazy streak of wins. But it's so much easier to get that crazy streak of losses than to be like, oh, now we're just going to go on a 7-game win streak, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main theme is, look, we haven't won a game since May 7th. It's been 2.5.
It's about to be August.
Yeah, it's been 2.5 months, and ties are okay, but 3 points is so important, especially when you're trying to qualify for certain positions. And just going on, how many games is it? It's probably been like 10-ish or so. You can't not win a single game and expect to qualify for something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the math. It doesn't add up, dude. I mean, it's
so that brings 2 points for me. You said ties are fine, which I agree with at the beginning of the season, but when we've lost games that we should be tying or winning, now we have to be winning games.
yeah.
and there's games where you look away and like a tie would be fine. Like Seattle, I'd be fine with a tie, but with this squad, we can get a win. But and then here comes my second point. Let's just pretend all these teams are on 15 games, and we are at 15 and 14 points. If we were to go on a 3-game win streak, we would be at 23 points, which, if these other teams didn't play, would put us into 5th place. Now, obviously, these teams are going to win some more games and get some more points, but there is the chance, especially because we're playing some of them, that they drop some points and that it goes from a 7 to 8 point deficit to now we're in like 8th or 9th, still not in playoffs, but we're only 2 to 3 points behind other teams, or maybe we're only 5 points behind, which now at the halfway point of the season only puts us 2, maybe 3 games back versus being like 6 games back.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's going to be a grind, and we got to start now.
yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. There are a lot of games left in the season, a lot of points up for grabs. It's tricky to listen to what you're saying and talk about. Oh, if we go on a 3-game winning streak,
I
and
mean,
then about 2 minutes ago, I just said we haven't won a game in 2.5 months.
it's just
I just want to real quick. I just want to say this as well. You mentioned last week. Oh, we have a really tough next few games as well. We're playing Seattle. So
I did mention after like our first loss that there was a chance we go on a 17-game losing streak, and we're it looks like we're close to it.
Yeah, why'd you jinx it, dude?
All right, and then the 5th question, the 6th question is final question. What is your ideal starting lineup? So I made 2 lineups for this question. Let me just pull them up real quick. Okay, so the first one I have is a 3-4-3. I built this first one because this is just real. I was trying to be like a little realistic with like what's going to happen. And I think Jacob will agree with 7 of the choices, at least. So in goal, I got JT. I think that's a shoe in. And then the back 3 is going to stay the same with Beeson, Alanis, and then Nathan on the right. And then up top for my 3, I have Kikanovic at striker, Cal on the left wing, Espinoza on the right wing. And then for me personally, the 4 in the midfield are interchangeable. I put the names on the left first of who I think should be starting, and then on the right of like I wouldn't be mad if they were in. So I think Salinas should be starting on the left, like wingback. But if you throw Lopez in there, I don't think you're really like, at least you'll get a little more defensive minded versus Salinas is a little more offensive minded. And then in the first holding mid, I have Remedy. But I wouldn't mind having Jutson in there. I just think with Remedy, you get a little more offense. But with Jutson, you'd get a little more like defensive cover. And then Yule, I think just it's nice to have him in the lineup. But I also have Chofis in there. I don't like him being in the 2, to be honest with you. I think he's better in a 3 midfield. And then on the right wing, I have Marie, but I also put Thompson there. I probably would have started Thompson, but he's been injured, so I kind of want to slowly bring him back in.
Yeah. I actually agree with that lineup. I think that's what I probably would put myself. So good job. Good job.
Yeah. Now I want to make another lineup that I would like us to experiment with. But obviously will probably never happen. And I only have one concern with it, but there is a cover to it. So for my lineup, that's kind of like what I would do is I would.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I should have put Youngworth in. It's a 3-5-2. So JT still in goal, Beeson, Alanis, and Nathan all in the back line. And then I'd have the 2 holding midfielders be Remedy and Jutson. And the important part to this lineup is that Jutson is the right holding mid, and I'll get to that in a second. And then at attacking mid, you have Yule. And then left wing back, you have Salinas. Right wing back, you have Espinoza. And then up top, you have Cal and Kikanovic. So my concern with this lineup is having Espinoza in that right wing position is going to probably force him to play a little more defense. And his best attribute is when he's exploding up the line. But that's why I have Jutes in there, because he kind of slots in that. He can slot into a right back position, so that's that cover position. And then I also like having Romady and Jutes in there, because then it frees up Yule to have more offensive ability. And I think Salinas is fine. The left side, him and Beeson, I think have been doing well. And then Cal, I have at the left striker, because he kind of likes to come in from that left side. And then I think Kikanovich has been great up top. And then I also like this formation because it really works for our subs. Like you could put, I mean, God forbid we put Fierro in, but you could at least put him up top. And then you have Rios, who you can put in the midfield or up top. You have Tommy Thompson, Paul Marie, and Espino or Lopez, who can all slot into that left or right wing side. And then you have Chofis, who I think should be subbed in, and then you can put him into the midfield. So I just think this formation would really work for our subs and stuff. It's Espinoza is the big concern for me here, and then maybe the Cal Kikanovich formation. But I mean, that could even turn into a 3 if Espinoza gets a little high, and then Jutson just does a little extra covering.
Yeah. I'll just probably affirm what I've been mentioning the last couple episodes is I think once we do have a couple more players back, like Kikanovich and Cowell in the full swing of things, I think it'll be interesting to see what flexibility and options we have going forward. I think both of these lineups you've created are appealing because of the players that you have up top. I think that's kind of the X factor we're missing right now.
Yeah, and it's just I hope Almeida's willing to like reward these players or like experiment with new things versus staying like. And I have no problem with loyalty, but like sometimes it's to a fault with him. And I don't want to be seeing some of these other players playing.
Yeah, and it's one thing if they're all doing well, but I mean the results speak for themselves at this point, and I think that we need to try something different.
Yep.